Uppy, uppy, uppy. It's one funny morning. It's coming. No, I'm Dana Blizzard, and it's too early in the morning. This is the dumbest show in the whole world.
From Monday
to Friday.
Sometimes on Saturdays.
Why would you say that in front of all these people?
Dean stinks.
You never know what's gonna happen.
That's your Dateline voice?
I don't know.
It wasn't good.
It wasn't.
It's not a chicken leg. This is a chicken leg.
Look at that manhole cover on my face.
Not a bad rendition of me. Hold on.
We know your brother. We'll give you a ride to school or whatever.
That's called
our school
murder
time.
in New Jersey.
He was a lot
Like what is?
with his everything.
Oh,
What's outside your Puerto de Clima?
that's Stavvy! Yeah.
Hey Dina and OFM friends, I'm in Ontario, which is the capital of Canada. I'm currently right in front of the building where our Prime Minister, that's the guy who takes care of all of Canada, and he's coming up for election. This is where he does his business. And this is our Parliament. This is where they enact bills, they enact laws, they deal with our Constitution. So it's currently being renovated because it's a really old building, but it's a beautiful building. And now we're back home in Sudbury with some wonderful memories of Ottawa. Here's to you, Dina. Uppy, uppy, uppy.
I love the five. Another little bit of info, Canadian info from the five. How is everybody doing this morning? It's Monday and it's too early. Is anybody else too early? I want to go back to bed. I wish I could be like, hey, everybody, it's Monday, but I'm not. Go somewhere else for that kind of energy. I'm not going to bring it. It was like a lot. Like in the shower this morning, I was like, this is like so much. Right? Here's what's making this Monday even worse. Yesterday was rainy. Today is rainy. Guess what tomorrow is? Rainy. Tuesday rainy. Wednesday rainy. Thursday rainy. Friday rainy. And then it's 100 degrees. That's what you just showing off now, said Carrie. You took a shower. It's too much rain. It's early, it's rainy, it's gloomy. I slept for 9 hours. Renee, I would love that for me, but I love that for you. Sunny all week in Minnesota. I should go to Minnesota. Go somewhere else for that kind of energy. It's not going to get here. Yeah, rainy days and Mondays always get me down. All right. Well, we made it, everybody. It's the beginning of another week. And again, a better host would say that with a lot more excitement. But I'm not a better host. This is as good as it gets. So let's just keep that there. In other news, where's your hostess cake? It's in the kitchen. Do you mean my diabetic cake? Yesterday, we made hostess cakes on Voila, and a lot happened. I'm not going to lie. It was the sweetest cake you've ever had in your whole life. If you eat the cake, you immediately get diabetes. I had some, and it was quite lovely. But then I got diabetes. Yeah. April showers bring May flowers. May flowers bring June flowers. June flowers bring the deathly hot scorch of the sun. That doesn't rhyme, but that's exactly it. It did, Renee. What's happened so far? LaFive, we watched one of your videos. Here's what I learned. Ottawa is the capital. You showed us the building that you must have shot that video before because you were talking about how elections were coming up, but I know you just had them. You showed us your Parliament building that is under renovation. And then you went back to Sunnybrook, Suderden. I don't know what you said. And whatever last place you said, and with a pretty building. I got 2/3 of what you said. But I feel ready. I feel ready to speak French, go to Quebec. I should not speak French. All I would do is sing songs from Beauty and the Beast. And I don't even know if they're French. But that's what I'll do. So that's it. Okay, so yesterday, yesterday for Voila, Diana, Sudbutai. That's where you live? I lost my job, so I'm eating cake for breakfast. Sudbury. Sarah, eat cake. We shall all eat cake. So yesterday we were making this Hostess cake, right? Which is supposed to look and taste like Hostess cakes. You know, the chocolate cupcake with the white line that does this on the top. Very thin line of icing. This icing was this thick in a cake, and then the icing was a lot. Either way, Diana pre-made the cake because making the icing and the frosting took us an hour and a half. So we'd be wallaing till now if we had to make the cake on top of it. Anyway, we're making the cake, and there was a poof of smoke. There was a whole thing. It was very dramatic. Voila. Let me just say that. Well, in the middle of it, I says to Di, Di, June 1st is Pride Week, Pride Day, in Philadelphia. Now, we went last year for Brooke. The whole family went. And I said, are you going to come this year? Now, last Pride event, I'm just telling you this to warn your eyes. I'm not even going to, but the visual alone will be with you for the rest of the day. Let me go. So I said, Di, you going to come to the Pride event? And she said, oh, I would like to. I couldn't go last year. I said, oh, you'd love it. I said, my leg was broken last year. They had to wheel me around, but I'm looking forward to it. She says, now, let me ask you this. What's going to happen during this Pride event? I said, well, you walk around and they got a lot of food. They got the vendors, but you're going to see a lot of chaps. She goes, chaps. I said, chaps. Yeah. A lot of chaps. She's like, chaps. What's a chap? Side note, most of the nickels are made with nickel mined in Sudbury. Huh. I said, Di, you should wear chaps when you go to this event. And she goes, oh, maybe I'll wear a chap. What would a chap look like? I go, well, you would look great in chaps. It's pants. She goes, okay, pants. I said, but then the cheeks are cut out. She said, cut out of what? I said, out of your pants. And then she said, ooh. And she goes, these are jeans? I said, well, I mean, you don't have a lot of jeans or leather pants, so you could just use your slacks. She got like polyester slacks. I said, you would be the only one that has chap slacks. And she could start a new trend. Grandmom's slack chaps. You have to really think of chap slacks. I think it's chap slacks. It's hard to say. And she said, I would love that. And she goes, can I bring snacks? And I said, you can have snacks in the front, chaps in the back. Snack slacks and chap slacks. Snapchat slacks. You can't see it all together. Snack slap chaps. So Di's going to be there. And she's going to be snacks in the front. You know how it's like all professional in the front, party in the back with like a hairdo? She's going to have snack slacks in the front, chap slacks in the back. And I think you're all going to want to go now. So I may have a shirt made that says snack slack chaps. Snacks, slacks, and chaps. Thank you for explaining, as I missed yesterday and I saw Jody's meme this morning. I knew I missed something good. Oh, yes, you did. No, you missed it. You missed it. But I'm gonna have a special outfit for her for the Pride Parade. And no one's gonna want to walk near her. But I'm gonna record all of it. Because why else would I go now? And I have a Pride shirt. I don't know where I put it. But Dinah's going to have a special Pride shirt. She doesn't know it yet. But she is. Yeah. Yesterday's Walla was something. Literally the whole show. Good afternoon from Greece, said Jurgen. Oh, Jurgen, I wish I was in Greece with you. Oh, I know. Jurgen, I was just saying we're taking my mom to her first Pride Parade, and she's going to wear chaps, but she doesn't have jeans or leather pants, so we're going to cut some out of her slacks that she wears to church. Yeah. That's exactly what I thought. I knew I had to watch it today. Yeah, well, so Jody made a meme that's on the supporter page. It's something that I'm not allowed to show on the main page. But it was a picture of Diana. We did do all the dishes, Kelly. But Di was complaining that we are running the only cooking show where the first 15 minutes of the show, she's like, guys, there's so much butter. You shouldn't eat this. You're all going to die. It's a pound of butter. Do you know how much butter is in this? I don't know why you would eat it. Literally. Like, I was like, I don't know why more cooking shows don't have like a disclaimer at the top. Like, you guys are not going to like this. You are not going to like this recipe. Is it happy birthday to Wim? Happy birthday! Is that where you're going to take me for my birthday, Jurgen? Because it's in September. Should I make my flight now and then I'll just meet you guys out there? Yeah. So, yeah, it was something. It was something. But we had fun last night. Well, after she stopped yelling at everybody. She was in a mood. Well, then I gave her amaretto. And then the night took a turn. Yeah, it was a butter warning. There should be a butter warning on it. Oh, I would love to, Tanya. Then she had so then she started drinking her amaretto. Then she knocked the amaretto over and all over the countertop. And then I said, you know what? I think it's time for more amaretto. And then I poured her some more. And then the show got a lot better. And that's why I think when the chaps conversation, yeah, she subbed all the ingredients. It started off as a Hostess cupcake and it ends up as a salad and heavy on the beans. Yeah, you guys are missing some for sure. And we kind of take turns. I think people would be able to tell which episodes I pick, like ingredients wise or recipe wise. Yeah. And then she started to make the frosting. And for some reason it said, put the butter in, then put in like 4 cups of powdered sugar and 3/4 of a cup of cocoa powder and then mix it. Well, apparently, unbeknownst to us in amaretto, if you don't have more liquid in there and you try to mix that up and the butter's at the bottom, it just makes a poof of smoke. And so Diana turns the mixer on, and it was like so slow, not even really on. And I was like, we cannot get this recipe done if you're not going to turn the mixer on. And then I went over and took one of her dish towels, covered it up like it was a bomb. And then I mixed it to high heaven and then ruined her dish towel. And then she had some amaretto and she didn't even remember it. And then there was cake. It was the whole thing. So it was good stuff. Good stuff all around. Yeah, the next Voila is in 2 weeks. Diana, I told Diana that next Sunday for Mother's Day, we're going to celebrate here. And then she texted back and said, who's going to make lunch? And I said, you. And then I didn't hear from her. So I don't know if she's making anything for me. But and then she dried the dishes with the same towel and then took a picture of said towel, posted it to the supporter page and said, look what Dina did. And I said, that's her hair dye. Because, she tells everybody how she doesn't dye her hair. I think the evidence speaks for itself. Carol, that was the best part when I took the towel off. No, it was good stuff. It was good stuff. Listen, I'm just saying, with this weather, I'm looking for any reason to get up out of bed. Yeah, no, because I can't take it anymore. I just made some healthy and yummy breakfast cookies Di would love. Send us the recipe, Judy, because I'm looking for one. All right. So listen, there's only what? Okay, I'm going to stress everybody out right now. So this coming weekend is Mother's Day. The following, right? And then the following weekend, you have off. And then the following weekend is Vail. So things are happening over here. And the clock is going off. So, yeah, now I can't stop thinking about butter. Vail is coming up. And as you know, Michelle has been busy getting in touch with all the comics that'll be at the Vail Comedy Festival. And we've had the pleasure of meeting a handful of them, and we'll be continuing to meet them throughout the next few weeks as we gear up for Vail. I think a couple people are coming out for it, so I'm looking forward to see some friendly faces there. I know, Jeremy, it's a lot. So let me introduce you to today's guest. His name is Andy Haynes. He's a stand-up comic based in New York City. He's appeared on Late Nite with Jimmy Fallon, Conan, The Late Late Show with James Corden, Comedy Central, HBO, and he's been a featured guest on Skeptic Tank with Ari Shaffir, Stuff Island, and Adam Friedland Show and Stavvy's World. His Don't Tell comedy set has over 1 million views. He's performed at the Just for Laughs Comedy Festival in Montreal, as well as the South by Southwest, Moon Tower, New York Comedy and Sketchfest festivals. He's a regular at the Comedy Cellar, New York, and the Comedy Store in Los Angeles. Can be seen opening for some of the biggest names in comedy, and you can catch him this Memorial Day weekend at the Vail Comedy Festival. So please help me welcome to the show, Andy Haynes. Hey, Andy.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. Are you home? Are you in New York?
I am. Yeah, this is my kitchen.
Oh, that's so nice. I'm glad. I mean, it's so funny. We always catch people, at different time zones. Everybody's always traveling. So,
yeah, I usually would be in a little bit more professional setting, but my daughter's bedroom is next to that. So here we are.
Oh, I hear you. It's very early. How old is your daughter? Isn't she in school?
No, she's 19 months and she stayed up super late. So, she's, yeah, let's see if we can find a good picture of her. Last night we went to an event. My wife works at SNL. And last night we went to an SNL event, and she stayed up late with all of the famous people. So
oh wow, she's already so bougie.
Yeah, she's very fancy. Try to find a real good picture of her that I can hold up to the server, because she's a real ham too. She's like this is a good one.
Now, is she your first? Oh, look at that face.
Yeah, she's my first and probably last, because I'm 42. So I don't know if I want to be. There's a lot of New York is full of old dads. I don't know if I want to be old dad.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I was, it's funny. I didn't think I was a young mom until, well, I'm 52 now, and all my kids were pretty much gone by 50.
Oh, wow.
Moved on, college, the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you did good.
yeah, I was forward thinking, but now I'm like, now what am I going to do with my life? So there's that.
Yeah, I'm going to be 60 at her high school graduation. I think it'll be different by then, though. We'll probably have like AI that can smooth us. But,
for sure.
Until then.
For sure. So, so you're one of the headliners for this Vail Comedy Festival. Have you done this festival before?
I've not done the fest, but I've done a bunch of shows with the people who put on the fest and in Vail or around the Vail. And it's really great. I've always had fun.
Yeah.
I keep coming back, so that should be.
That's a good sign. I was going to say, is there anything I should know? It's my first. I've been to Boulder, I've been to Breckenridge, but never to Vail. Is there anything I should know before I get there, other than I can't afford to eat?
I don't know. No, I mean,
it's just beautiful.
Where are you based?
I'm in Jersey. I'm Philly now, but I was.
Okay.
Yeah. So
the elevation is pretty good.
Yeah.
Like if you're a flat, if you're down at sea level, maybe I don't know what you do for elevation, because I've always
just drink water, they say. I was good at like Denver elevation. I don't get sick, but I got very, very sick in Breckenridge. But he said this is like in between. So
yeah, I think it's similar to Breckenridge, but I don't know. I've never gotten sick, so I think you'll be good. Maybe take some vitamins.
Something. I don't know.
I don't know how people do it. I just know that it's not Everest. Everest is where it's like, but it's pretty high, isn't it? It's like 10,000 feet.
It is, but he said it wasn't as bad as Breckenridge. That's all I know, is like literally started getting a horrible headache driving up, and then it wouldn't stop for like a day and a half. So I'm just like, let's just hope it doesn't.
Well, it's not Breckenridge. Let's put it that way. Yeah, it's not Aspen. It's Vail. I've never gotten sick from elevation, other than I moved to Lake Tahoe when I was like 18 years old. And I was like jumping on a trampoline, and I got like dizzy because I wanted to be like a professional skier. So I was like practicing tricks on a trampoline. Are
you that good?
I was. Now I'm big and sore,
Now you're 42.
It's the joints don't work the same. I would say that I used to be able to say I thought I was the best skier in comedy, but then I've met some young kids that are now way better than I am. So
yeah. So so Andy, are you originally from New York? Like, where are you from? How did you get started in stand-up?
I'm from Seattle. I started because I saw like a Bill Hicks DVD. That's how old I am. I saw a DVD, which I feel like nobody watches. No. I feel like kids aren't even going to know what putting like a CD in a CD player was like ever. They'll never know skip control. But I saw Bill Hicks DVD, and then I just was a summer camp counselor. So I was like, oh, I'll try to do that. And then I went to an open mic in Seattle. I was like in college, like 90 miles north of Seattle. And I drove down, and everybody was so bad at this open mic that I was like, well, I can be bad at it.
Yeah.
And then I never stopped.
Wow. And so how old were you? You were 19?
22.
22. Wow.
Yeah.
And so how long did you stay there before coming to New York?
I finished college. That was like 9 months. And then I moved to Washington, D.C. for about 2 years. And then I moved to New York. So I moved to New York around 2008. And then I was there for like 4 years. And then I got a TV writing job. So I moved to L.A. and I was in L.A. for 6 years. And then I moved back in 2018.
2018. So right before the pandemic.
Yeah. Met my wife. I knew it was coming. So I just was like, I got to prepare. So I met my wife. I said, let's go inside. And then we got engaged. We actually had like the best, we had a COVID wedding. We got married in September of 2020 in New York City. And it was like lawless. We just had everybody meet at Washington Square Park. and we walked up to get ready, like to kind of get prepared, and there was a bunch of cops because there had been the Black Lives Matter protests, and I said, "Hey, we're about to have a wedding. Is that okay?" And the cop said, "I don't fucking care." All right.
Okay.
It was cool.
That's so funny. So there, you remind me so much of another comic, Kevin Brennan. Do people ever tell you that?
All the time. Yeah. It's I would say it's like the most common. I get Dennis from It's Always Sunny.
Okay.
And just, I think physically, I don't think I'm like him. And then I get, who's the other one I get? Seth Meyers. There's a guy like Tony something from Scandal. But Kevin is the only comic that I get.
It is so funny. So you guys won't know who Kevin is. You should know who Kevin is because he's hilarious. But Kevin and I used to work together at the Comedy Stop, and he just has just a certain way that he talks, and you remind me so much. I'm sitting here going, why do you look so familiar? I know we've never worked together. I'm like, you remind me so much of him. I think it's your delivery. It's just very...
It's why Neil Brennan doesn't like me. He feels like I'm bullying him. I'm kidding. But yeah, one time I auditioned, this is like really early in comedy, probably like 2010. I auditioned at the comic strip, and there was like, it was a pretty famous club, and the booker was famous amongst comics. And I go up and I have this really good set, and I'm like, how'd I do, kind of thing. And he goes, you did good. You remind me of Kevin Brennan. He goes, problem is I have Kevin Brennan. So I did not get past.
Wow. That's crazy. Somebody said you remind them of Tony Goldwyn. Did you ever get that?
Yeah.
You do?
That's the one I'm talking about, from Scandal.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, he's a hottie. That's a good one. They're all good.
I also get Matthew McConaughey from, not, my face is kind of puffy right now, but only from like True Detective season 1.
Oddly specific.
I don't get Gold Rush, hottie, Austin. That's not the McConaughey they're talking about. They're talking about the genre. Kind of vaguely autistic murder detective.
That's so funny. That's so funny that you look like so many people. You have like just a famous face.
Cast me.
I was going to say, so you said so far, you've done the writing, you've done the stand-up. Your wife was at SNL. Is she a writer as well?
Yeah, and she's also a comic, and she's got a special on Netflix called Motherload. It just came out in March. She's killing it.
Wow. Is that how you guys met, through comedy, I guess?
Yeah. We met at I actually met her for the first time like the night that I moved to New York.
Wow.
It was New Year's Eve, 2017 into 2018. Oh, wow. And I walked up to her, and I was like, because I knew her through mutuals, but we didn't know each other. Right. And I was like, hi, I'm Andy. And she was like, okay, like really rude to me. I was like,
you're like, this is the one.
And then I slowly chipped away at her tough exterior, and we like kind of fell in love one night at a wedding. Yeah.
That's so lovely. Now, you didn't have any rules against like dating other comics?
Oh my God, I wish.
Did you dated another comic before?
Yes, I dated a lot of comics. I also married another comic. Yeah.
You leave comedians in your wake.
I'm just not good at, I'm sober, so I don't go out to bars. And then I never went very far from, it was like, oh,
put the work
you're
in.
Around me.
You're here. So you never did dating apps or any of that?
I did, but it was always like it wasn't conducive with like a stand-up life. Because like I remember I dated an architect, and then we were like doing pretty well, and we had like a Valentine's Day planned, and then like, you know, dinner, dessert was really sweet. And then I was like, oh, it's 9:30, I gotta go. She was like, what? And I was like, oh yeah, I have a spot. So that was pretty bad. And then, you know, just other, you know, people I'd be dating, and then I'd be like, oh, sorry, I have to go to LA for 6 weeks because I'm working on this thing. And it was just a lot of back and forth. Only a comic really understands. Maybe a surgeon, you know?
No one has ever put comedians and surgeons in the same category.
There's not a lot of us that keep like these weird hours, like detectives, murder police, surgeons, comedians. I don't know what else.
Same category. Interesting.
Yeah, I was always saying a comedian would make a really good serial killer because we just like go from city to city, you know?
Yeah.
Not that I am, by the way. I want to testify that I'm innocent already ahead of time because I don't have a very warm persona.
No, I hope this isn't like what you talked about on first dates.
No, I don't bring this up. I feel like, you know.
By the way, I'm not a murderer, even though I could be. I'm not.
Well, I think I have a very I'm going to stop talking about this, but I'm a nice guy and I'm innocent. I want everybody to know that.
This might be the first interview with the veiled comedians that has come up and be like, I'm innocent.
Yeah.
First one to bring it up, which is.
I want people to know that.
Yeah. It's interesting. Mm-hmm.
That'd actually be a good movie. Would be like a ski resort kind of serial killer thing. But again, innocent.
Completely.
I don't have the energy. I have a 1.5-year-old. I would not be able to.
Yeah, no.
Wouldn't be able to hold up.
Did you watch Dexter?
I did. I watched all of Dexter.
Like that would be the reason I couldn't be a murderer because he had to set up those murder rooms with all that plastic, and that takes hours. And that just for that reason, I'd be out. I'd be like,
I don't even set that up for craft time. I'm not going to do that.
Just murder's too messy.
Yeah, I'm also a vegetarian. Like that's the main reason I don't eat meat is because I couldn't like dig into an animal. So, you know, I'm getting way too. This is. I did not mean to steer it this direction.
That's so crazy, Andy. So 2.5 years ago, I got divorced and got on the dating apps. So I'd been married for 24 years, then got on the dating apps. And like for most women on dating apps, like you're like, oh, I hope I meet the man of my dreams. That's like your first thing. But then your second thing is, I hope I don't get murdered. Like it's just two very stark realities. And so just the way that just like I'm innocent rolls off your tongue, it just would be like, he's definitely a murderer. Like you would red flags, you'd be throwing them. Just
if my wife left me, I would definitely not bring this up in my future dating. I would just say, I'm a nice guy. I'm nice.
Murderer. Yeah. Yeah. On my second date with the guy that I'm dating, we were going to a rooftop restaurant, but it was raining, so we couldn't. And he was like, oh, we can't come here. It's closed. He was like, there's a restaurant around the corner. And I was like, okay, I'll meet you there. And he was like, well, my car's right here. Just hop in. You can leave your car here. We'll come back. I'll just drive us over. And I was like, I'm not gonna, you're not allowed to get in a car with a guy on the second date. And he was like, what are you talking about? It's literally like, we can see it from here. The restaurant's right there. And I was like, this is the stuff that guys who murder people do. They're just like, just get in my car. And he was like, he goes, well, I'm not going to murder you. I'm like, that's exactly what a murderer would say. And then we stood there and we had this conversation for a good 7 minutes. And because he was cute,
I think it's very, I don't put up a big facade. And I think it's very charming to go, hey, you know what? I know murder is in the air, you know? That's not me. I'm not that guy.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what the ladies want to hear. In the air.
I think somebody has a joke about that, about how it's like guys are like, oh, it's this guy Hampton Yunt. He has a joke about, he says, guys are worried that the women are not going to look like their picture.
Okay.
and women are worried that they're going to get murdered.
Yeah.
It's two very different energies going into.
It is. Mm-hmm. And I remember I got to the point, because the one thing that everybody, they were like, that guys lie on the dating app. And I was like, okay. And they were like, do you know what they lie about the most? I was like, no. Do you want to guess what they lie about the most, Andy?
I would say being married.
That's probably a good one. You're probably right, but that's, you probably wouldn't find that out for a while. This you would find out very quickly.
Height
is the number one thing they lie about. And I
didn't realize it was this big of a deal.
Oh, big deal. Because I'm 5'10". And let me put it this way. Pickens were slim. So you were just, and you can set those filters. You're like, so I guess I'd go out with a guy who was 5'10", like my height or above. When I was younger, I probably wouldn't. But then Pickens got real slim. And I was like, 5'7" not so bad. Maybe I could pick him up. Like you just, whatever. So I matched with this guy, go out and
lift him up to.
Yeah, exactly. I just couldn't cuddle him. So I show up on this date, and it's like, it's in Philly. I love bourbon, so it was a whiskey bar. All my dates were at whiskey bars. That way, if they went horribly wrong, at least I would be drunk and wouldn't know. And so I went, how like in Philly, like there'll be like a door here, and then there's like a little vestibule and another door here.
Yeah.
So I was coming out to go get seated outside. He was coming in. So we kind of meet in this vestibule, and I'm standing there. And he said on the app, he was like 6 foot. And I was looking down at him. And literally, I kind of knew it was him, but I wasn't sure. And he looked at me and he was like, "You're Dina?" And I looked at him and I go, "You're not 5'10". Literally the first thing out of my mouth. And I was like, I bet that sounded rude. But he had like his shirt unbuttoned down to here with like the hair and the gold chains. And I knew it wasn't going to go anywhere. So he was like, "Are you Dina?" I was like, "You're not 5'10". He was like, "They say I am." And I was like, "Who's they?" And that's how it started.
I do feel like there's some guys that have like confidence that kind of adds a couple inches, Really? But I would say I had no idea how important this was, because like the height, because like I would date women sometimes and they would clearly not like me, and then they would be like, "But you're tall," and I'd be like, "All right, well, I don't know what this is."
I don't know. I didn't realize it factored into it. I would. How tall are you?
6'2".
Yeah, I don't know.
I also didn't realize that it wasn't normal to be this tall. Like, I guess the average height for a man in the United States is 5'7" or something like that, 5'8".
Yeah, there are a lot of little little cuddly fellows for sure.
Little guys.
Little guys. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, anyways, hopefully we'll never have to date again because, I'm bad at it. Obviously, I bring up that I'm not a serial killer, and I don't know a lot of these things.
Yeah, no, it's good that you're off the market and something steady, because your openings would have to be worked on. It says that you sometimes make things up. What kind of things are you making up? What does that mean?
It does?
Yeah, no, it says, I read that you say you mainly do stand up, but occasionally you write something or make something. Tell us, what kind of things are you making?
Oh, like I do like sketch, or I do like I made a pilot for a TV show.
Pilot about?
God, I got to work on my press kit. I make something up. I mean, this is like, but if we add this whole interview up to everything I've said, it's just none of it is good. I brought up murder.
I think it's very entertaining. Just so you know, this is really good for us.
Okay, good. I want this.
You're killing it.
Thank you.
Like on a real show, no, you should definitely shoot higher. But ours is like really.
I just imagine myself on Good Morning America, and I'm like, "I'm not a murderer," and they're like, "Okay." Yeah, no.
We're like
That's a commercial.
Yeah, no, we're the place you should go and work out kinks. So this is good for you.
I appreciate that. I made a pilot. I was a mover in New York for a long time. And I made a pilot about that because I worked for this wacky moving company that had like 40 employees from all over like the world. And there was a large spectrum of criminal activity in everyone's past. Just kind of, it was a bunch of characters. And so I wrote a pilot and made a pilot about that. And then, I try to do, like, with social media right now, everything is so topical. So, like there's all these like 20 somethings around New York who do comedy, but they're like so good at it where they like, like Donald Trump says something and the next morning they have a sketch out that's like about that thing. And I haven't quite mastered that, but occasionally I jump on the bandwagon and I can knock something out. But for the most part, it's just stand up and podcasting. I have a podcast called Beautiful Boys with another comic named Mike Conan. And I had podcasted in the past with my wife before she exploded and couldn't be seen publicly with me. But yeah, I try to make stuff, but I'm not like a sketch, like that's not what I'm known for. That's for sure.
And what's your podcast about with your friend Mike?
It's brand new. It's only been out for 2 months. But it's kind of just comedy. We're just being silly and it's, talking comedy, but we cover lots of, topical kind of life stuff. And then we're both dads and both married. And so that comes up a lot. I think we're like kind of in a dad space a little bit because we both have young kids. He has a 5-year-old and a 8-month-old. And then I have my giant 19-month-old. My daughter's huge. She's like 35 pounds.
I love it. And has being a dad changed your stand-up at all?
Yeah, I mean, mainly that I feel so insane ever leaving to do stand-up because it's like, I don't, I like doing stand-up. I'm glad that I chose a life in it. But at the same time, it's not an important job. It's, some people would argue that, you're supposed to make people laugh or whatever. But it's like my daughter will be like eating dinner and my wife's at SNL. So it's like the babysitter's there and she's like, dada, dada, dada. And then I'm like getting ready to go and she's like crying. And I'm like, I'm going to like a comedy show to joke about like a time that I orgasmed too quick or what, it's just like, and she's crying and I like, how do I tell her this? I always think about this, like when I'm doing these like bad weekends, sometimes I'll go and I'll do like a bad club for a weekend. It's not enough money or anything.
Yeah.
And I'm like getting on like some rickety plane that, there's no FAA anymore. And it's just like, if this plane went down, my daughter would have to know that I like I died because I went to the Ha Ha Hut in, Quad Cities, Des Moines.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. There were so many years of that. I started doing stand-up. I had 2 kids already. And then I was pregnant doing stand-up for my 3rd. But then I got into Bob Kephardt's Comedy Stop in Vegas and Atlantic City.
Oh, nice.
And I would have to take my baby and my mom because I was breastfeeding. So I'd be like in the green room breastfeeding and I'd be like, hold this baby. And then I was like, these kids are going to grow up with a real messed up view of things. But it is, I think it's awesome. I think that kids that grow up with parents that do something creative. So now 2 of my kids live in Brooklyn. You may come across them at some point, and they're both my daughter does a lot of stand-up in Brooklyn.
Cool.
My son is more of like the video guy, like you're talking about, and does amazing editing and some sketches.
That's awesome.
And my youngest plays violin. So they'll all live in a box together, I imagine, and be poor, but they are doing stuff they love. So it's nice.
That's okay. I've been poor. I was actually born into a pretty, upper middle class family. And I've always wanted to get back to it. I really wish that I was like from, I meet these comics where they're like, like we grew up in the hood and this is like my only dream and everything's a blessing. Like I have a friend from Staten Island and he's just like, if I can make $60K a year and do stand up, I won. And I'm like, listen, I want a big house with a Volvo XC90. And then I would also like a second house somewhere. Like I grew up with people who had cabins, you know, I want to get back to that.
Wow. That's fancy.
Yeah.
That's very
But I do think, you know, you got to follow your heart or something like that. So that's good. I followed my heart, you know.
That's nice. That's nice. Well, listen, Andy, you're a pleasure to hang out with. I'm looking forward to cooking up in Vail. Are your daughter and wife going to come to Vail?
No, my wife is doing comedy as well. What happened?
I did this and then Facebook goes
I
there.
just know it does. I think it does this. Hold on.
Yeah.
Give me the thumbs up.
Thumbs not
doing it.
Mine will do it. No, it's not going to do it. If you do this, then it's fireworks or something. No, it's not going to do any of it. Cool. Now we just look real dumb. Wait, somebody just said a cabin. Definitely a murderer. See, you did
okay.
that.
Yeah, you can't have a second home. Never mind. Forget the second home. It's very suspicious.
Especially a cabin. If you had said like a chalet or something,
yeah,
or
that's true.
house, but you said cabin, which is a clear sign of a murder. Well, good. Well, thank you for joining us, and thanks for sitting in your kitchen. Are you in your kitchen?
I am. Yeah. I'm in the kitchen.
Towel holder in
next to a high chair. Let's see. Yeah.
Oh, all the baby stuff.
Well, thanks so much for having me. This has been really fun. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person.
Yeah, you too, Andy. Thank you so much. So let's see. Let me put up how people can find you. I know Michelle put some things up here. I think your social is here. Yeah, I am andyhayes.com. And is that you on Facebook and on Instagram?
It's I'm Andy Haynes. Yeah, just like that. With not the .com. It's just the I'm Andy Haynes on after the thing.
Got it. So follow Andy. Are you going to be where are you going to be in the next few weeks? People can find you.
I'm hanging out with the kid until I'm going to be in Baltimore on the 17th. But other than that, Comedy Cellar at night and some New York City park during the day.
Great. Do you ever come through Philly?
I do. I play the punchline usually.
Oh, good. Oh, we have to let us know. All right, good. Well, thanks, Andy, so much. Looking forward to seeing you. I'm sure some of our followers will find you on the road when you're close to them as well. But I appreciate you taking some time with us, and I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thanks so much. Bye.
All right, thanks, Andy. Bye-bye. All right, so make sure to check out Andy at I'm Andy Haynes.com, and you can find him on Instagram. He's got some really funny clips. So that's it. Yep, he's coming to Baltimore. And Michelle just posted it there. Thanks, Michelle. But he's so funny and such a deadpan delivery. I love that. So he's not a murderer. Keep that in mind. Don't yell that out when you go see him at shows. And that's it. It's just a fun way to start this Monday dreary morning. Hopefully the sun will come out at some point this week and we'll all smile. But that's it, everybody. Thanks for joining me as always. And like Judy from Saskatoon and Good Time Andrea say all the time, they're not murderers. So say that today to people. I'm not a murderer. And just leave it at that and walk away, see what happens. But that's it, everybody. Thanks for watching. Have a great day and a blessed day, and I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you. Bye-bye.
Hey, guys, if you enjoyed today's morning show, make sure to follow us for more One Funny Mother content.
Okay, all right. Morse code is tapping.
And check out OneFunnyMotherStore.com for great new inappropriate swag. And for more exclusive content, consider becoming a supporter.
She got a bad leg.
Thanks again, and we'll see you tomorrow on One Funny Morning.